saying? Shay. Gang. That nigga gay, nigga. That nigga sitting there with them tight ass pants on, with his balls and all of them cats' face.
As you can see in the background, that is Shannon Sharpe with Hollywood, aka D-Print, on vacation, celebrating together as a couple.
When Unc say he want to date younger men, they killed me.
Here's the final stop of the day. The wines. The line started over there.
Some of y'all know me as D-Print. And y'all see what's going on with Shannon. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. He does like to choke. I know all about it.
Welcome back to StarHush, where the mess is never mild and the tea always comes piping hot. And today, the spotlight's back on Shannon Sharpe, because this story just keeps getting messier by the day. Now it's Eddie Griffin stepping in and fanning the flames, making claims that Shannon might be living on the low allegedly. He's hinting that this whole legal blow-up with Gabriela Zinga, the OnlyFans model suing Shannon, could be a cover-up move, a way to distract the public and squash ongoing speculation about his personal life. But that's not even the wildest part. Fans think Shannon may have incriminated himself when he released those controversial text messages between him and Gabriela. One message in particular had everyone's jaws dropping. Gabriela allegedly said that Shannon wanted her to play with her tongue in his. You know what? Let's just say people read it, and the internet broke into full meltdown mode. That one message lit up the timeline with questions. Now fans are wondering, was Gabriela ever the real focus, or was she just part of a bigger image that Shannon was trying to protect? But here's where it really gets layered. Eddie Griffin isn't just throwing shade. These types of rumors around Shannon have been bubbling for years. And one of the biggest scandals tied to all this, his former male stylist, known in the fashion circle as D-Print in Hollywood. Word on the street is Shannon and Hollywood were allegedly spotted together on what looked like a romantic getaway. Pictures started floating, stories popped off, and suddenly blogs were buzzing with speculation. And just like that, Shannon decided to cut Hollywood off. But by then, the whispers were too loud to ignore. He might have fired the stylist, but the damage was already done and the gossip mill was running full speed. Of course, blogs like Tasha K's weren't about to let that moment slide. They kept those rumors front and center. And now, with Eddie Griffin chiming in, fans are going right back down the rabbit hole, digging up everything they can about Shannon's private world.
Got the best stylist in the world, not the United States, the entire world. Of 8 billion people, I got number one. And can't nobody stop us. Shay Sharpe and Hollywood, a dynamic duo that can't be stopped. Run tail down.
Now here's the thing. Look, Jasmine, when have you ever seen people go this hard for a personal stylist? Now you got people that cut your hair. Shannon got people that cut his hair. Okay, he got people that work him out in the gym. He got physical therapists because you know he got tight hips and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people that help get him together, producers of his show. Why would he make a video to Hollywood and say that out of 8 billion people in the world, him and Hollywood are gonna take the world by storm?
Meanwhile, even more voices from the industry have started weighing in. And it's not just background noise anymore. Big names like Eddie Griffin, Shaquille O'Neal, and Mike Epps have all dropped subtle and not so subtle hints suggesting that Shannon Sharpe's lifestyle might not be as straight-laced as he tries to present on camera. These aren't random folks from the sidelines. They're insiders, entertainers, and athletes who've been around long enough to spot what's really going on behind the scenes. And now fans are listening even closer. So here's the real question. What exactly did Eddie Griffin say that got the streets talking all over again? Is this wild lawsuit with Gabriela Zinga just part of a bigger cover-up, a distraction from what's really going on? And if that's the case, then what else has Shannon been hiding all these years? The deeper we dig, the messier it gets. So let's get into all of it.
You can tell how that drink kept on saying, now, cat.
Just when Shannon Sharpe thought things couldn't get any messier, boom, a whole new scandal hits the headlines, and this time it's serious. The controversy centers around OnlyFans model Gabriela Zinga, who's now filed a major lawsuit against Shannon, accusing him of misconduct and demanding a whopping $50 million in damages. When the lawsuit first surfaced, Gabriella was only referred to as Jane Doe, but that didn't last long. Shannon himself revealed her identity, saying he wanted to prove their relationship was fully consensual. But the way he did it had people side-eyeing the whole situation. Shannon dropped a series of private text messages between him and Gabriella, and they weren't just flirty, they were graphic and detailed, giving the internet more than they ever asked for. The messages suggested Shannon was into some very specific preferences, including scenarios that played heavily into racial fantasy dynamics. One message from Gabriella read, "I want you to put a big black baby in me." And the way she said it, with that level of comfort and detail, had fans wondering if Shannon had encouraged that type of talk in the first place. Keep in mind, Gabriella was only 19 when 54-year-old Shannon allegedly started paying for her companionship, which already had people raising eyebrows. But then it went a step further. More messages revealed that Shannon may have made explicit requests, asking Gabriella to engage in certain acts that fans didn't expect from someone so publicly buttoned up. Shannon likely thought these texts would help his case, that they'd prove Gabriella was into the dynamic and that everything was mutual. But what really happened? The messages sparked a whole new wave of speculation, especially about Shannon's personal preferences and past rumors. Fans quickly linked the tone of those texts back to old stories that have floated around about Shannon possibly being on the down low. And things took another turn when clips of Eddie Griffin resurfaced. In one of his stand-up sets, Eddie didn't hold back, claiming directly that Shannon was a closeted man, adding more fuel to a rumor that's been circulating for years.
And Club Shay Shay. Yeah, Shay Shay. Gay gay. That gay. That sitting there with them tight pants on, with his balls and dick all over the cat's face. You can tell how that drink and eat gay. Kept on saying, now, cat. That's lips.
When Eddie Griffin's bold comments about Shannon first went viral last year, it didn't take long for Shannon to respond. He addressed it on his Nightcap podcast, and even though he never directly denied the claims, he made sure to call out the comedians behind the jokes. Shannon clapped back, saying that Eddie and others were just recycling tired material to ride his name for clicks and clout. He basically accused them of trying to stay relevant by attaching themselves to his growing fame.
What they're doing now is that they found out that Shannon is the hot thing. They're using the same joke. It's gonna get old and people gonna get tired of y'all saying that Shannon gay and Shannon this, and you're gonna have to get back to telling jokes. Now, please tell me you're not running out of jokes. Please tell me you're not gonna use Shannon as your punchline for the next 3, 4, 5 years. You're gonna have to start telling jokes. Please tell me you got jokes.
Here's the real kicker. These rumors about Shannon possibly being on the down low didn't just show up out of thin air. They've been floating around for years, but things truly reached a boiling point in 2023. That's when word hit the streets about Shannon allegedly having something more than just a working relationship with his former stylist, Russell D. Print Simpson, who now goes by the name Hollywood Muggler. And let's just say, once the internet caught wind, things got real loud. People started pointing out that Shannon and D. Print's dynamic didn't exactly give off the usual just business vibe. And with Hollywood's past ties to other athletes who've also been rumored to be living quietly, fans started connecting dots, and the side eyes got stronger. In 2023, Shannon and D. Print were spotted all over LA, courtside at basketball games, walking through high-profile events, and even rumored to have gone on what some described as a romantic-style getaway. That's when the whispers started turning into full-blown conversations. To make it even more interesting, Hollywood used to post Shannon regularly on his Instagram, showing them together backstage, tagging him in behind-the-scenes moments, and even praising him with captions like, "the best to ever do it." And Shannon, he wasn't shy about it either. He would shout out Hollywood during his show, giving him props and making it crystal clear to anyone watching that they were close, real close. Now, with all this back history resurfacing, fans are revisiting those moments with a whole new lens and asking the same question: Was it just friendship? Or was there something more?
Let them have it again.
Some more and some more and some more and
I
some
need to
more.
say, nah, I want to hold on to it because I see what y'all doing. I'm going to do it myself now.
You feel me?
Yes.
Yeah. So more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, you hear that, Hollywood?
Yeah.
We going about it all wrong.
And just when things were starting to cool off, Media Takeout stepped in and threw more gas on the fire. They dropped a report that dug deep into Shannon and Hollywood's connection, and let's just say the internet ran wild with it. In their report, they reminded everyone that Hollywood Moogler, formerly known as D-Print, is the same person who made headlines years ago for claiming he had a romantic history with former NFL star Kerry Rhodes. At the time, Kerry strongly denied any suggestion that he was anything more than friends with Hollywood. But it didn't take long before photos leaked of the two looking super cozy on what looked like a full-on couple's vacation. And just when people thought it might still be speculation, Hollywood confirmed it himself. In an interview with Baller Alert, he made it crystal clear. They said maybe he loved me like a little brother. Well, if he loved me like a little brother, he treated me like a husband. That quote made its rounds fast, and folks couldn't help but connect the dots, especially since Hollywood later became Shannon Sharpe's personal stylist. Now, that doesn't automatically mean anything beyond a professional relationship, but you know the internet. Once the pieces started lining up, people started talking louder than ever. And guess what? The timing of it all made it even messier. Shannon fired Hollywood in August 2023, right when the rumors about his personal life started spiking again online. Some fans saw that as a calculated move, a way to silence the noise and protect his image. Shannon tried to spin the situation by saying Hollywood wasn't officially his stylist, just someone helping out temporarily. But let's be real, the way he downplayed their connection had people thinking he was trying a little too hard to separate himself from the story.
He was gay. Okay, that's his life. That's not mine. Hollywood no longer styles me. Why? Because I'm loyal to Shelly. She was hurt that after 20 plus years of being my stylist, that I had gone outside to hire someone else. And someone else was getting the credit when she was there at CBS. She was there when I started at Fox. She was there when I was going out and doing red carpet events, and I never had a problem. And for me, in my head, I thought I needed someone outside. Right. I didn't buy one thing new when Hollywood started styling me. Everything, all those LV jackets, all that stuff that I already had. And a lot of the stuff she had already put together, but I took it apart. So when he put it back together, it was just what she had put together.
No matter how hard Shannon Sharpe tried to distance himself from the whispers about his personal life, people in the industry kept tossing fuel on the fire. One of the names that stirred the pot the most? Comedian and actor Mike Epps. During one of his stand-up sets last year, Mike made a bold joke that had the whole crowd, and later the internet, buzzing. He claimed that Shannon had reached out to him for a guest appearance on Club Shay Shay, but he said he had to turn it down. Why? Mike didn't hold back. He joked that he wanted to have Shannon looking across the table at his private park, which got a mix of laughs and gasps from the audience. While it was clearly meant to be a joke, it added more heat to the conversation, and fans felt like Mike might have been saying the quiet part out loud.
Called me trying to do an interview. I said, no, Medea, I ain't doing no interview. So you can sit across from me and look at my balls. I'll sit down, nigga. I thought he was going to attack Cat. It's called Shay Shay. The nigga telling you. Put a wig on and tell me if that ain't mother Dea's sister. They exposing every mother body.
At the same time, fans were going full detective mode, analyzing Shannon's every move, every look, and every outfit. One moment that really had social media buzzing, that now viral clip of him stepping out of a car wearing a super tight tracksuit and rocking a bold orange designer bag.
Here at the final stop of the day, Total Wines. The line started over there. My last stop of the day. We got up early, had a late night. We don't do excuses here. We just get the job done, because this one we signed up for.
Ooh, I'm gonna boo the hip hops. You know how we do. Back in Happy Tuesdays, Happy Tasting Tuesdays. As you know, it's your host with the most. You know, it's Big Shay, not the little ones. Also, you see the drip, the green on green, the neon, the Ninja Turtle, orange, can't forget about the bag. Got a little off-whites. Shout out to my go-getters out there. Shout out to my playmakers out there. We always gonna put on for the naysayers and the haters out there. You know, that's just what we do. That's just what we do.
And just recently, Shannon Sharpe found himself once again having to address the same old whispers, this time during a sit-down on Cam Newton's podcast. Shannon didn't dodge the topic either. He brought it up directly, saying these kinds of rumors seem to resurface every single time he starts leveling up. He even hinted that somebody out there might be trying to sabotage his momentum, especially after his interview with Cat Williams went viral and had everybody talking. According to Shannon, the timing of all this gossip ain't random, it's calculated. He believes the noise always gets louder when he's winning, and fans couldn't help but wonder if there's truth to that.
When Cat dropped, it's like, all of a sudden he gay now.
Yeah. So when you do see, Unc Zesty, or, stepping outside of, I don't know now, and we don't never see him post no woman, he just got all these damn dogs. Red flag. From the horse's mouth himself, it's like, how do you respond?
I'm in a no-win situation. Because if I respond, they say hit dog holler. If I don't respond, they say, well, if it wasn't true, he would say something. So if I respond, I'm a hit dog. If I don't respond, he's hiding something. So how do I win? I win, hey, they're gonna say what that's the thing that I didn't realize, that when I really got into this, there's this celebrity, this kind of fame here, Cam, is on a different level. I mean, I was a damn good football player. I won Super Bowls, I'm in the Hall of Fame, but this is 20 times the magnification of what I was as an athlete.
So my question is it because of the power of social media, or is it the evolution of you?
It's a combination of both, and that's why I don't let people play with my name. Everybody knows there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's not. I'm just not gay. And most straight men don't let you play with their name like that.
Especially not in our culture.
No. But see, also, in our culture, if I want to try to emasculate you or try, what do I say? I say he's gay. Because no matter what you think, that's still, in our culture, that's still kind of frowned upon. And people, they'll say all these things, well, it's okay. And I don't have a problem with it. I have people that work for me that's their life. That's their life. That's not my life. I don't judge what you do in your home, what you go to bed with, who you wake up as. That ain't got nothing to do with Shannon Sharpe. That ain't my bed. For me, is that was the hardest thing, because it was almost like they were trying to convince me that I was something that I'm not. But I kept repeating.
And just when it felt like the dust might settle, Dr. Umar Johnson stepped into the mix and added a whole new twist. He chimed in on the situation and suggested that Shannon might have purposely leaked that infamous audio featuring a woman named Michelle as a way to shut down the rumors once and for all. In case you missed it, back in September, Shannon accidentally went live on Instagram while he was getting intimate with Michelle. Neither of them appeared on camera, but the audio, let's just say it left very little to the imagination. Shannon deleted that live almost immediately, but it was too late. The clip had already started spreading, and the internet wasted no time with reactions, memes, and theories. According to Dr. Umar, the whole thing felt too convenient, almost like a calculated move to remind folks that Shannon likes women, right when whispers about his private life were getting loud again.
Am I the only one that want to know where the Shannon Sharpe audio went all of a sudden, including the videos? I tried to go back and show somebody and it was gone. Scrubbed from the internet, snatched up, swallowed.
But of course, Shannon Sharpe wasn't about to let that viral moment slide without a response. Right after the live went down, he quickly hopped on Instagram stories claiming that his account had been hacked, and that the whole situation was just someone messing with his page. But let's be real, the internet wasn't buying that explanation for a second. And to make it even more suspicious, Shannon deleted the story shortly after posting it, like he already knew the excuse wasn't holding any weight. Eventually, Shannon decided to switch it up and speak directly on what really happened. He brought it up during an episode of his Nightcap podcast and finally told his version of the truth. He admitted that the IG Live wasn't a hack or some outside sabotage. It was just a clumsy mistake. According to Shannon, he tossed his phone onto the bed right before getting into what he thought would be a private moment, not realizing that he'd accidentally hit go live in the process. But as we all saw, that moment didn't stay private for long, and it had the whole internet buzzing. Shannon told his audience that he was deeply embarrassed and disappointed in himself for letting something so personal go public. But let's keep it real, fans weren't fully convinced. Based on his tone and body language, a lot of people felt like Shannon wasn't nearly as embarrassed as he claimed.
I'm embarrassed. Someone that is extremely private, and to have one of your most intimate details, the audio heard for the entire world to hear. I'm embarrassed for a number of reasons. People count on Shannon, Shay Shay Media, Club Shay Shay Nightcap, ESPN. There are a lot of people that count on Shannon to be professional at all times, and I always try to be professional at all times. Even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of professional, although I'm in the privacy of my own home. And I'm very disappointed in myself, not for the act. I think there are millions and billions of people of consenting age that engage in activity, but to have your most intimate detail on the audio to be heard, I'm disappointed in myself. I let a lot of people down. My kids, I reached out to them, I called my sister, my friends, obviously my friends reached.
But Shannon wasn't finished clearing the air just yet. After owning up to the accident, he also addressed the rumors flying around that the whole thing was staged. And he came out swinging. He made it clear on his podcast that he did not go live on purpose and called the idea of it being a stunt completely false. Shannon said he doesn't need to fake anything for attention, especially not something that personal.
But guys, this was not staged. Came in, I threw my phone on the bed, engaged in an activity. I did not know IG Live. I've never been on IG Live. I've never turned IG Live on, so I don't know how it worked.
Ute fans weren't buying it, not even a little bit. The internet came with receipts and logic, pointing out that going live on Instagram isn't something you can do by accident. You've got to open the app, swipe to the right screen, and then tap live. It takes intention. So when Shannon tried to play it off like he accidentally hit the button, people were quick to call cap. The whole explanation felt off, and folks weren't shy about dragging it online. But instead of leaving it alone, Shannon kept going and ended up digging himself deeper. He even claimed that it wasn't him who turned off the live stream, but his assistant Jordan, who supposedly ended it after realizing what was going down. That little detail only made things messier. Now fans were like, wait, why would assistant have to save you from your own phone? The math just wasn't mathing.
The good Samaritan, the good soldier that he is, Jordan the one that cut it off. Because hell, I didn't even know it was on. Jordan cut it off. Jordan put the message up. And then after I called my agent, the agency, I called ESPN after I just got this good, tell them the truth. I said, I just got to tell them the truth. My phone wasn't hacked. It wasn't a prank. It was me being a healthy, active male. I mean, y'all thought I was bull jiving. Hey, I'll get it in. Real talk.
But wait a second. If Jordan was able to shut the live stream off, then how come he couldn't have been the one to accidentally start it too? That's when fans really started scratching their heads, because something about that timeline just wasn't lining up. It didn't take long before the theory started spreading. What if Shannon staged the whole thing? Like, what if the accident wasn't an accident at all, but a move to silence those long-running rumors about his personal life And that's when Dr. Umar Johnson stepped back in with his own take. He said the live stream incident looked way too perfectly timed, almost like it was Shannon trying to grab the wheel and steer the narrative. According to Dr. Umar, Shannon probably figured if the internet heard him getting cozy with a woman, even without video, it would be enough to shut down all the whispers about him being on the down low. But instead of clearing things up, it just got fans digging deeper and they weren't letting it go.
I think Shannon or the woman he was with, and I pray it wasn't a snow bunny, but I think Shannon or the woman he was with orchestrated that. Because I do Instagram Live on the regular, right? First of all, you got to open up the app. After you open up the app, you got to slide over to live. After you slide over to live, you got to hit the live. So you can, it's very difficult. I'm not going to say impossible. It's very difficult to go live accidentally. If Shannon Sharpe claims it was an accident, I'm not going to call my brother a liar. Even though he's a bunny hopper, I still respect him as a black man. I'm not going to call him a liar, but I can see how he has benefited from this episode. He was being accused of being a part of the Rainbow Army. This may have helped dispel those allegations. In addition to that, someone said he was just offered $100,000 from an adult film company to produce an adult film, or at least license the audio that he had, or whatever the case may be. It brought him a whole lot more followers and listeners, although he was already one of the top podcasts and doing well for himself. But this really did bring a lot of attention to Shannon Sharpe. It really, really did. And I can see why Mason, Cameron, and others might feel like Shannon Sharpe intentionally did this, because there was a lot to gain, especially clearing himself of the rumors that he was homosexual. Absolutely. Because even when he talked to Ocho Cinco afterwards, he wasn't very remorseful. He apologized, but he celebrated in that apology. You know, he said, I was getting down, you know what I mean? And I get down and, you know, I popped my Viagra or had my condoms. Like, he was bragging about the encounter. It's kind of hard for me to believe you're sorry this happened if you're bragging to your brother about the encounter. So again, I'm not going to call Shannon a liar, but I can clearly see how he has benefited from that.
And now with this new lawsuit from the OnlyFans model making headlines, things are once again heating up for Shannon. According to her claims, Shannon allegedly requested some very specific actions that had fans raising eyebrows and sparking more speculation about what he's really into behind closed doors. People online are starting to ask, is Shannon trying too hard to convince the world he's into women? From the situation with his former stylist, to that now infamous Instagram live moment, and now this messy lawsuit, it's like there's always a new twist popping up. Instead of calming the rumors, his every move seems to be making things louder. And now folks are wondering, is this just a bunch of bad timing and coincidence? Or is Shannon possibly overcompensating for something deeper? There's no denying the pattern is strange. One minute he's defending himself online, the next he's caught in a scandal that only makes the whispers grow stronger. But let's open the floor. What do you think? Is Shannon just caught in a wave of messy situations? Or could he be doing a little too much to prove a point that doesn't even need proving? Drop your thoughts down in the comments section. Let's talk about it, because the timeline's been wild lately. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you never miss another messy breakdown. Catch you next time, my stars or my hushers. You already know it stays spicy over here.